Disclaimer, this video will be split into two parts. First, the overall history of Terra Encantada, and then an in-depth look at its star attraction, Monte Makaya. Skip to the halfway point for Monte Makaya. Opening on January 16th, 1998, Terra Encantada was a massive theme park located in Rio De Janeiro, Brazil, that was perhaps the most problematic park of all time. Originally slated to open in 1997, delays were frequent, and by the time of its opening, only a handful of attractions were available. These attractions included a massive freefall tower, mazes, a main street plaza, flat rides, a ghost train, and 4 roller coasters, the star of which was the world's first 8-inversion coaster. Now, to give you an idea of how truly massive this thing was, think on the scale of Universal Studios' Islands of Adventure. Terra Encantada was similar in size and had goals to draw yearly attendance close to that of Universal's, which was between 7 and 10 million people a year. Like, this definitely wasn't your neighborhood theme park. We're talking ginormous. And this came after a $220 million investment from the National Bank for Economic Development, which agreed to fund the entire park but not operate it. Consequently, over 12,000 people were employed but trained very poorly, leading to bad operations and an inconsistent work schedule. These employees also often complained of missed paychecks, and many of the park's attractions and amenities remained closed during its operating seasons. This resulted in little upkeep of the park, and it very quickly started to head down the road to disaster. Seeing this, the park's director tried to continue drawing attendance by investing in celebrities and local artists who would put on live performances in the park, but this never ended well. And let me just run you quickly through what I'm talking about. 1998 saw actress Isis de Oliveira get injured on one of the attractions and sue. 1999 saw fights between jiu-jitsu entertainers during an onstage performance. 2002 saw brawls erupt during a performance by rock band Charlie Brown Jr., leaving 61 people injured and a lot of shops looted. 2005 saw a 28-year-old man fall from one of the roller coasters and break his neck. And finally, 2010 saw 61-year-old visitor Heyadera Lemos Ribeiro get thrown from Mount Aurora, their Zyklon Pinfari, and die later from head trauma, which was the last straw for the park. According to Wikipedia, quote, subsequent investigations discovered that the park's rides all had serious structural and mechanical issues, which led to a complete closedown of the park. The park's director and engineers were charged with manslaughter in 2011. Since then, the park sat SBNO, and the goal was to reopen, but a fire in 2014 put the final nail in the coffin, and by 2016, demolition of Terra Encantada began. As of now, the park no longer exists. Within this time span though, there was one attraction that stood as a mystery to enthusiasts, and that was Monte Makaya. Poor Monte Makaya, she had a rather sad story outside of the park because she was meant to be the star of the show but never really received her claim to fame. At the time of its opening, Monte Makaya had the most inversions in the world at 8, tied with the still operating Dragon Con at Portaventura. She was the first of the multi-inversion coasters from Intamin and let riders see a vertical loop, cobra roll, double corkscrew, and triple heartline roll, things which had never been seen in the amusement world. While she did operate fairly consistently, few actually ever got to ride it. It closed in 2010 with the park and was ultimately dismantled in 2016. But her story hasn't ended just yet. I've got some good news. After all those years, she turned up on site for the newly relocated park Mirabilandia and is expected to open next year alongside another very famous coaster and missed one, Deja Vu from Six Flags Over Georgia. And I'll be honest, while neither look to be in that great of condition, hopefully the park does get them up and operating, especially since this park is also being mostly funded by the government. Also, shout out to 2fob394 for the request. I've had lots of people ask about the story of Monte Makaya, so I'm glad we were finally able to get this out. In the meantime, please feel free to like and subscribe if you did enjoy today's content. I wrote this in a coffee shop, and our editor Adam did this on a whim from Japan, so it does take some effort, but I love making these videos, so any support helps. Until the next one though, that's all I got for you guys today, so I did hope you learned something about Monte Makaya and Terra Encantada, and stay tuned for another video coming in a couple days as well. Until then, we'll see you all there. See ya!